No problem. No problem.
I thought I'd come on in and join everybody.
Yeah, well, I got a chance to talk to Ken and Thor, and these guys are so wonderful and lovely, and you just get enjoyed to getting to know them, and so
Time flies when you're talking to
absolutely,
them.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
may have been an hour, but it felt like 5 minutes. So
There you go.
if you guys haven't had a chance to come in to talk to Thor or Ken, you should. They're great guys to talk to, and they really treat you well out here.
There you go. Seven Waters Advisors, George McFarland with us on Friday mornings, as he always is. What's the big topic of today?
Well, let's talk about late life crisis. Everybody talks about
You mean the one I'm in?
I hope not, but if you are, the word, Kennedy is famously known as saying that the Chinese word for crisis is also the word for opportunity. That's been debunked, but even though that's not literally true, boy, philosophically it is.
Yeah.
You have a crisis, you also have opportunity. And so, but this is a study that's come as of late. Everybody's always talked about midlife crisis,
Yeah.
but they're really beginning to realize that something happens in people's 60s that really starts to put in what's known as a late life crisis.
Well,
And so this is actually one of the, if you guys don't ever listen to me, which I'm normally here at 7:30 morning every Friday morning, but if y'all normally listen to me, and you just kind of go on autopilot, I beg of you to dial in, because this is probably the most important part of knowing and preparing for retirement. Okay?
okay. But something tells me this whole the late life crisis, the 60s thing, is kind of like when you realize you're not ready.
Well, yeah, in a way,
Yeah.
or that you didn't prepare enough.
Right.
Everybody wants to think about, how do I make sure I have enough money in the bank, right? And so when they do all their retirement planning, that's all they think about. How many dollars and pennies am I getting in the bank or on a monthly basis? But what they don't think about is instead of worrying about what they're going to do with their money, they don't think about what they're going to do with themselves.
Yeah.
Think about this, Mark. How many years does a person prepare to go into their career?
Well, I guess for different people it varies. Some people go through the whole college experience, and so that's 4 years there, and then more stuff and more stuff. And then there's some people that you got a job that day, you've learned on the job, and that's what you do the rest of your life.
That's right. I mean, you think about it. When you start kindergarten, you're in the beginning of preparations of getting ready for your career.
Yeah.
So most people spend 20 years trying to figure out how to set themselves up for the next 40 years of their life.
Yeah.
But then they spend the next 40 years not preparing themselves for the next 30 years of their life. You know, we have more people over 100 now than we've ever had. People are living longer, and they're going to continue living longer.
Yeah.
And so when you're working now, you have so many things on your plate that sometimes you don't spend the time thinking about what's ahead. And if you can imagine, one of the things that puts people in the largest difficulty of life whenever it comes to their career is they make no preparations for it.
Right.
They don't spend time really preparing in school. They don't think about college or go to college or find some trade to get into. And now they find themselves in adulthood and they don't know what to do. And these are usually the people that have the hardest time making it into their career.
No.
And they're actually a smaller portion of our population that do that. The majority of our population get ready for college. Get ready for their career.
Yeah.
Well, on the other side, though, only a small portion of our society actually gets ready for retirement, and they know what they want to do. And so Dr. Riley Maines wrote a book called 4 Phases.
Dr. Riley.
You know?
No.
Oh, okay. 4 Phases of Retirement. Well, it's a book worth reading, okay?
Yes.
And it's an incredible book. So he says that there are 4 phases to most people's retirement because they haven't really prepared.
Yeah.
The first phase, the one thing that everybody does prepare, vacation. Let's party. Let's go, baby. For the first year and a half, all the places that people want to do, or that bucket list, the things that they want to do, they get checking through it, but it's not long before that bucket list starts to run dry and they start getting bored. Right?
Or what happens to the person that they've got that list, but then once they get to retirement, they realize, I don't even have enough to go do this list.
right? So that's definitely where the planning the financial part is so important, right?
Yeah.
But before you really can even start planning that financial part, this is the part you want to prepare for. It's like, what am I going to do with myself?
Yeah.
Number one, that'll may give you some motivation. If you actually sit down and go, how much am I going to need to live on? And how much am I going to need to live on to get this? That might motivate you to work a little bit harder or take a second job or look for that promotion. Maybe set more money aside for savings. So it's going to help create that motivation to do what you need to do. But once that vacationing is over, what people then go into is the second phase, which is loss. And this is what puts people into that late life crisis.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they start realizing they lose so much. They lose the structure. That every day they're used to a structure. I get up, I go to work, I do this, I do that, do that. They know what to do with themselves, and now they don't. Then they have loss of identity. How many people, whenever you talk to them, the first thing you say is, what do you do? And they identify themselves by their job.
Right.
So what do you do once you're no longer doing that thing? How do you identify yourself?
Well, I would think that at that point in time, somebody gives the big R word, but do they sometimes have a problem saying that?
They may or may not, but then what do? I'm retired from this, or I'm retired from that. And a lot of them just still say it. I'm a lawyer. Well, are you practicing law anymore? No, I'm retired from it, right? But they don't know, they haven't moved into their new identity. How many, I remember whenever I was in my 20s, I was still wearing my high school ring. And somebody goes, why are you still wearing that? Are you still in high school? I was like, no, I like the ring. And I quit wearing it. It embarrassed me. You know why? Because that wasn't my life anymore. I wasn't a high school student. I was a grown man, and I was in a new part of my life. The thing was, I hadn't really picked up on the fact that I had a new identity. And so what have you done to think about, not what am I now, but what will I be? The loss of relationships. This is where the friends at work, they're not going to be the same kind of friends they were. Do you still have the same relationships you did with kids in college or high school? Because you've separated course.
Yeah.
So you have this loss of relationship. You have this loss of purpose. You used to have this purpose. This is what I'm doing. This is my career. And then you also have a loss of power. You were the man in charge. You were the one that made it rain. You were the one that everybody said yes, sir, to.
Yeah.
All that goes away in this phase.
Very true.
And if you haven't set now and started thinking about what that news phase is, that loss will come down on you and it will hurt you. Now, maybe some of you that are underneath my voice are already experiencing that. And that means that you need to start looking to your third phase, because there's 3 ways people can respond to this. One, they can go, I'm not going to stick here and I'm going to find a way to get out of this. Other people are going to say they're just going to try to avoid it altogether, and they're just going to retreat, which will put you into a further depression.
Yes.
And other people find ways to redefine themselves. So this is where you move into a restructuring or a learning pattern and start trialing and erroring. And you may try one thing and not work. Well, that's fine. You did that right when you got out of college. In fact, most people don't even do the discipline they train for in college, but they set their mind that I have to find a purpose. So as you're in this restructuring phase,
You gotta find a new purpose.
go find a purpose and go fail. Go fail at it all the time. One thing I always tell people whenever they're trying to learn a new skill or learn a new place, chase failure until you catch success. Because you have to fail, you have to get it wrong. But go try something. Go enjoy something. Go do something that you always dreamed about doing. And what if you're not good at it? Who cares? Just go do something so that you can find purpose. And as you're trying these things, that's when you're going to find your new purpose for life and working inside of that. So I really encourage you. By the way, this is a great book. A lot of this I based off his book, but it's
Is that a recent book, or is it a
it's
book
been
that's
around for
a long
years.
time?
It's called The 4 Phases of Retirement by Dr. Riley Maines. And if you're listening to me today, if you will call me, 903-445-1061, the first 5 people to call me, I will get together with you and I will give you this book. Okay?
Oh, you have several copies.
And so that's what I would recommend y'all do, because I feel like you can't even start your path of retirement planning financially until you figure out your path of financial planning as far as your purpose. You would never let your high school student or college student move into their adult life without finding their purpose or at least setting goals for a purpose. Why would you then not do that for yourself? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what happens when somebody tells you, George, I'm retired. I don't have a plan. I just get up every day and whatever happens, happens.
Are you happy doing that?
I don't know.
That's the question I would ask,
Okay.
right? And so in fact, that's another reason why you should sit down and talk to me. One thing about the way the Seven Waters operates, we're not here just to tell you how to do your thing. We're here to sit down and really have a real conversation and learn who you are, what you want to do, find out what your goals are, and then from there, we can start giving you tools and resources to accomplish those plans. But listen, the old adage is true. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I know you're busy. I know you guys have a lot going on, but if you took 20 years to get ready for your career and you're only 5 years away from retirement, do you think you probably need to put a little bit of urgency in getting ready for your retirement?
No.
Okay? And
Not just financially.
not just financially.
Just
Financially is the way you fuel that plan.
yeah.
And we can help you with that too. Now, and here's the thing. For those of you that are trying to think, well, what can be my new purpose? Let me make another plug for our mentorship program. What are you good at? Come talk to me. I can find a place for you. We got kids in our schools right now. Their lives are difficult. They need somebody in their life that can be a guide, a help, somebody that's made it through their life and found success. So please give me a call. If you can come and talk to my kids for 15 minutes, or if you can come in and read with one of the kids, or anything that you can do, I'm here there. So 903-445-1061. If you'd like to have a copy of the 4 phases of retirement, and I will actually help walk you through the process of trying to find that purpose, okay? And then on top of that, if you want to help out with our mentorship program, please, we would love to have you.
Very good. George McFarland, Seven Waters Advisors. You have an office in Tyler, but if folks in the Henderson area need to meet with you, you can do that. You can accommodate them well.
That's right. So we have an office in Longview, an office in Tyler, and then K-Word hosts a satellite office here for me. KWRD hosts a satellite office here for me, and we will just give me a call and we can set up a time.
Very good. George McFarland, Seven Waters Advisors. Again, I appreciate you hanging around this morning.
Thank you, sir.
So I've lost an hour of my life this morning, but I was sleeping good. I will say that. Thanks, George.
Thank you.
And then Sunday morning,
Every Sunday morning at 8:30.
I believe.
So every Sunday morning at 8:30, you got my financial 90. Okay,
which we expound on Friday.
that's it.
Good deal. Thanks, George.
All right, bye bye.